Of all the cities in China, Anshan perhaps doesn't stand out to you. However, there are certain things about the city that really set it apart. What are they? Well, you have to come with me and find out. I'm Yin, and welcome to Travelogue.
Anshan is a quiet, peaceful city, also known as the Pearl of the Northeast. Seated in the center of Liaoning province, at the foot of the famous Tianshan Mountains, the city is quite appealing to tourists as well, for its abundance of unique sites scattered all around. It's well known as the home to the giant jade Buddha statue, the mountain range Tianshan, and ancient temples that date back to the Ming and Qing dynasties, as far as the 14th century. The sights you'll find here and the overall tranquility reflect the influence Buddhism has had on the city's long history and culture. In Anshan, you are certain to find things nowhere else in China. In today's world, people buzz around amassing their fortunes, searching for recognition, or merely without any particular purpose at all. However, Anshan is the perfect place to find that inner peace. People here lead lives of a slower pace, savoring the morning sun, taking a chance to breathe in the fresh air and stroll by the water. It seems that everyone understands the principles of Buddhism: tranquility, spiritual development, and wisdom. Likewise, they seemingly incorporate these principles into their daily lives. Mount Tianshan, the most famous tourist site in northern China, has been a religious center since long ago. It's located in the southeast of Anshan, rising over 700 meters above sea level. Tianshan literally means 1,000 peaks in Chinese, getting its name from the nearly 1,000 peaks. The mountain is rich in trees and grass, which have been found to cover over 90% of the area. The scenery is captivating, with its peaks surrounded by a sea of clouds. Buddhists and Taoists came from far and wide to construct many temples and pagodas on this mountain. Many temples were built throughout past dynasties, including the 5 great Buddhist temples. The Longquan Temple is the biggest and most famous. It is an ancient structure dating from the Tang Dynasty that features 17 halls.
Tian Mountain has 4 distinct characteristics: the presence of pear blossoms, pine trees, strangely shaped rocks, and monasteries, of which there is one up on this mountain.
Buddhism at Mount Tianshan goes back as far as 1400 years ago. The Longquan Temple means the Dragon Spring Temple in Chinese, and the origin of the name comes from the spring waters that are present in the center of the temple all year round. There are many representations of dragons in the sculpture and painting in this Buddhist temple, where they serve for decoration in the 3 floors of the monastery. The dragon is a symbol in much Buddhism religious folklore, and they're also found in the roofs of pagodas because they represent the liquid element that protects them from fire. The temple was built along the slopes, blending beautifully with the mountains into a whole. Buddhism was introduced to China from India because of the trade, the Silk Road, during the Han Dynasty. After 500 years, it reached its height during the Tang Dynasty. and soon it became one of the most important religious beliefs in China. Nowadays, the mountain shelters 40 monasteries, some halfway or at the tops of the mountain, with more than 1,000 Buddhist monks and Taoist priests during the peak season. A folk tale tells the origin of the mountain, and it goes like this. Once a long time ago, the four corners of the sky collapsed, and in order to save the lives of all the creatures below, the goddess Nuwa patched the sky with stones. By accident, she dropped a stone on the ground, which splashed into thousands of peaks in the shape of lotus blossoms. Thus, the Qian Mountain, or Thousand Lotus Flower Mountain, was formed. Today, religious signs can be found in the natural environment, like interesting rocks that are shaped like Buddhist deities. The mountain is also famous for housing both Buddhist temples and Taoist pagodas. For Taoism, the most imposing temple is the Infinity Temple that was built halfway up the steep mountains and has a very strange layout. Taoism is a way of life, and Taoists live their life in harmony with nature and the universe. Up here, the fragrant flowers of the summertime fill the mountain valleys, and pure snowflakes of the winter cover the landscape. It feels like walking into a mythical land. Many poets left us with much poems praising the sights, and so many poem inscription tablets stand fully or partly in the deep shrub.
Qian Mountain in Chinese literally means 1,000 mountains. And that's because if you take a look, it seems like there are over 1,000 mountain peaks. Rich in vegetation, the area is also known for one unique characteristic, and that is the presence of both Buddhism and Taoist monasteries on this one mountain. Sometimes on a good day, you'll even see some characteristics religious in nature. Sometimes you'll see the clouds in the shape of Buddhas, or even rocks in the same type of style. What are they exactly? No one really knows.
Surrounded by a forest of pine trees, these magnificent temples are breathtaking. And a view from far away, and you can't help but wonder if the mountain does indeed have some mystical force guarding and blessing its peaks. Maybe a trip for yourself will lead you to that answer. In Anshan, the Jade Buddha Garden also reflects the impact Buddhism has had on its people. Seated inside the temple is the biggest Jade Buddha in the world.
The Jade Buddha Palace lies in an area rich in natural resources. Besides the mountains and the water surrounding it, it also is rich in jade. And that's why it's known as the Jade Buddha Palace, because here lies the world's largest Jade Buddha structure. Besides that, there's also many other structures also made of jade.
The Jade Buddha Garden lies in the east of Anshan City, covering an area of 40,000 square meters. Its unique architectural style and presence of jade makes it a rare attraction. Pillars, steps, and other structures are all made of local jade, an abundant resource found here. The history of jade is as long as the Chinese civilization and plays an important role, especially in Anshan, which is home to some of the best jade in the country. The Chinese admire the superb qualities of this material. Its transparency represents purity, its color represents loyalty, and its brightness represents heaven, and much, much more. Jade stands for beauty, grace, and purity, and has been used in many Chinese idioms or phrases to symbolize a rare beauty. Thus, jade is really special in Chinese culture, and as the Chinese saying goes, gold has a value, jade is invaluable. Besides admiring the structure of the building itself, inside the main building, you'll find the most striking figure, the world's largest jade Buddha. And surprisingly, this statue was sculpted from a giant single piece of jade, almost 8 meters high and weighing 260 tons. The color of the jade is not uniform throughout. Dark and light shades are all present. And creatively, the carvers use these different tones to reflect different parts of the Buddha's body. For any observer, it seems like the varying tones destined this piece of jade to be designed into a jade Buddha.
Now what you can see is the largest jade Buddha in the world, with a weight of 260 tons, with a height of 7.99 meters. And it is the largest jade Buddha in the world. And you can see his face. It's just on a black color jade.
Right.
Yeah, it's very perfect color. And the face of the right hand, that is a light color. And the back of the left hand is a dark color, just like our human people's hands.
So it's very realistic.
Yeah.
And you see also the hair is like a golden color.
Yeah, just like the Buddha is wearing a crown. He is a king.
Like royalty.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the other side?
Yeah, the Guanyin Bodhisattva.
Can we take a look at that?
Okay.
On one side of the jade is Sakyamuni, the founder of Buddhism, and the other side, Guanyin, the goddess of mercy. This jade has made a name for itself in the World Guinness for its size, brightness, and color.
Now you can see this side is the goddess of mercy, and she is very famous in China. You can see the two black color jade. The upside we found a Chinese dragon, and on the bottom that is a phoenix.
Up there. So what do they represent?
Because in the ancient time in China, it means harmony. It will bring us happiness and luck. And the Guanyin's face is just a clear light green color jade.
And what does that represent?
Yeah, that means very pure and holy.
All very symbolic.
Yeah.
Next, we head to Xiuyan, known for its abundant jade reserves, long history of jade culture, and excellent jade processing techniques. For all these reasons, Xiuyan was formerly given the name as the jade capital of China. Thus, it's not surprising the jade used in the jade Buddha was found in Xiuyan County. The jade here usually comes in a natural light green color and is semi-translucent. The best jade pieces are clear and watery in appearance, without any marks. The jade sculptures we see here today have a modern twist, incorporating the elements of modern life and going beyond themes that relate purely to religion or elements of nature. Interpretations vary from viewer to viewer, so you have to figure it out yourself.
Look at these magnificent jade pieces from Xiuyan. Actually, Xiuyan is known as the jade capital. Well, it's because jade here is the largest output and also the number of people involved in the jade business. There's 3 types of jade, of which there are 7 colors. Most prominent is this green that you find here. Another unique thing is when the designer designed how he would sculpt out this jade, he looked at the colors. Here you have red and green, and then he probably thought, well, it would be a good place to have leaves, foliage, and the yellow maybe for some bark. All from creativity and a little imagination.这里的玉雕好像跟传统玉雕有很大的区别。
是的，咱们从现在主要是说从现在这个家居啊，因为做玉嘛，玉是讲究一种吉祥的东西，跟现在的家居呢要相适合。现在呢，咱们这个玉雕一般的说，现在的家居啊比较讲究一种线条，一种流线的东西，所以说呢，在咱们设计的过程中呢，尽量的去考虑这方面。另一个把有些东西啊概括一下，简练一些，把这个作品的主题体现出来。
Qiuyan is also known for its special paper cut. Paper cut is one of the most appreciated folk arts in China and can be found throughout the country, varying with the local customs. Qiuyan has a long history of paper cut, and children often learn from a young age how to cut. It's a tradition passed from generation to generation. Rich in historical and cultural heritage, it embodies the ancient Chinese art form and serves as a window into the lives of the local people. These cuts are typically made on festive red paper and pasted on windows, walls, and mirrors during Spring Festival, holidays, birthdays, and other celebrations. Although the cuts here seem simply like animals or flowers, they in fact can represent many long-standing symbols in Chinese culture, or even literary idioms. We also go on a typical house visit. Northeastern Chinese people are known for their hospitality and frank, warm personalities. Many households engage in farming, and so they're mostly self-sufficient. But besides busying themselves during the daytime, they also like to have a bit of fun at night.
所有东西都在这里面。
这是影像。
这是什么？
这是那个影卷，搁现在说其实是剧本。一般说俺们唱演的时候就照这个剧本唱。
那你们一般都唱一个戏吗？还是唱很多不同的？
这得看咱们时间长短。要有要求，要是唱会影那种事儿的，就是一般的一部书能唱10来天，10多天。
所以每场演出其实需要很多场才能完成一。
对，很多场完成一部书。
So this is your script, I guess. Just like in plays, they have a script. In this opera form, there's also a script that this artist here will sing for the shadow puppets. 那其他东西我看看呢？
好。
这个。
这也是影卷，这就是影人了。
这挺好玩。
这是大下巴。
这是什么？
大下巴。
它是。
属于丑角。那影戏属于丑角。
咱们秀妍皮影戏最大特点是什么呀？
我们秀妍皮影戏最大特点就是男唱女腔，男性唱女的腔调。
那您也唱过？
唱过。
那怎么个唱法？
我给你学2句啊。这个样
Local foods reflect the personality of the people, hot, hearty, and generous. At At night, the people set up a stage on the bed with simple items. I soon realized the best performances don't necessarily happen on a grand theater hall with mega million sound system. Shadow puppets are a traditional Chinese art form. The stage is a large white sheet with a very bright light behind it. The bright light projects the puppet's shadow onto the sheet without revealing the puppeteers. Originally, the shadow puppets were made of paper, later from the hides of donkeys or oxen. That's why the name Chinese shadow puppet is piying, which is shadows of hides. These moving characters depict the different personalities in literary classics or those typical personalities you'd find in real life. There are two types of shows: musicals that mostly focus on singing, and action-packed thrillers that emphasize fighting and movement. Shadow puppets are an art form that can be appreciated by all. Anshan is rich in natural resources, and a big draw for many locals and foreigners are the therapeutic natural springs. Tanggangzi Spring is located 15 kilometers south of the city proper, and it's one of the 4 biggest recuperation centers in China. The temperature of the water is 72 degrees Celsius and contains over 30 kinds of trace elements beneficial for one's health. The benefits of water healing have long been known by the Chinese, and the last Chinese emperor, Puyi, had a room especially for himself. It's even an option these days to reserve that very room. In the past, the spa was reserved solely for the use of officials, but today, it's opened up to the public.
One natural resource you find here are the hot springs, like this one here. And you see, this room is particularly unique because it was Emperor Puyi, the last Chinese emperor, who used to come here in the 1930s. It was his royal hot spring. And even today, much of the construction remains the same as it was in the 1930s. Here, you can enjoy the life of an emperor.
Outside, the people can also choose to bathe in mud. The smooth mud, in combination with the geothermal water, opens the skin's pores. It's like the finest sand on the beach.
If you're looking for some relaxing therapy, this is the place you have to come to. This hot mud here is about 56 degrees Celsius, and that's a bit warm for some people, but for others, it's a good way to sit back and enjoy this hot temperature. The mud is also replete with a lot of minerals that are good for your health. It's like a trip to the beach without the sunburn.
Anshan is a leisurely place where you can hang up your coat, take off your burdens, and relax. The city's soul whispers its tranquil story and hums its catchy tune. Anshan is sure to move any visitor with its beautiful peaks, pure jade, and wise people. They'll show you what's really important in life.
So that is the peaceful and tranquil city we are in today. Here the people are kind, friendly, and of course, hospitable. But maybe that's just the spirit of Anshan. I'm Yen, and see you next time on Travelogue.